Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. Because at the end of the day, the Most High is only dealing with the elect of Israel. Only the elect of Israel will be delivered. And the scriptures in Ephesians, I believe Ephesians, matter of fact, I'm positive, Ephesians 1 and Ephesians 2 speak about predestination, that you're going to be delivered before the universe was even put together. Matter of fact, let me go to that real quick. But anyway, I'm sorry, let me give you this title if I didn't give it to you. Speaking over myself. Anyway, the scripture, the title of this video is "Can Two Walk Together Except It Be Agreed?" and false prophets. There are a lot of false prophets out there in Israel. Anyway, let me go to Ephesians. Ephesians 1. Book of Ephesians, the epistle to the Ephesians is a very powerful book, letter written, by Paul an apostle of Yahweh Shai, by the will of the Most High. So he's addressing, when you write a letter, you always address yourself. So when you get the letter, it's me, Mr. So-and-so, talking to such and such, or talking to a bunch of people. You have these Christians that say, you see, when you read this scripture, it's talking about all men. Yeah, all men among Israel. I want to get to the word predestination, which is right here. Right, according as he hath chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love, having predestined us, talking about the elect, unto the adoption of children by Yahweh Shai HaMashiach to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will. So let me look up the word predestined. So you cannot make, if you're not of the elect, you cannot make yourself one of the elect. Remember when Yahweh Shai cast out demons from this man, which was an Israelite, didn't have to say he was an Israelite. The centurion who had a sick servant, he was an Israelite. The woman at the well was a heathen. The woman that was a Syrophoenician woman was an Israelite, having predestinated I remember this precept back in my Christian days. Predestinated.
Strong's G 4309. Praarizo. Praarizo.
To predetermine, decide beforehand, in the NT New Testament of the Most High, decreeing from eternity, to foreordain, appoint beforehand. So David, being the king, was set to be the king from the foundation of the earth, before he came on the earth. Before Solomon was born, Solomon was predestined to sit up on the throne as the king. When Yahweh Shai gathered the initial 12, ultimately there were 84 disciples that he had. A lot of Christians don't even know that. It so happened that the 12, let's deal with the 12, which was replaced. Judas Iscariot was replaced with Matthias. So he was always set up to be a part of the original 12. They were all in the same area. You know, Peter wasn't in Egypt, and James and John, the brothers, they weren't living in Arabia. Bartholomew, Matthew, Thomas, they weren't living in Jordan and Petra. So you got a lot of people that don't understand how the 12, ultimately the 12 apostles were predestined. The apostle Paul was predestined. All the prophets. The Most High didn't look at a guy and say, oh, I'm going to make this guy a prophet. You was a prophet ordained in the spiritual realm. The Most High put the script together, and we're living the script. We're acting the script. So it's predestined who the prophets are, and it's predestined who the false prophets are, who the wicked are among Israel. A lot of people came into a part of One West, and they went back out. A lot of men came into GMS, and a lot of them fell out. Well, they were predestined to fall out. The ones that stayed to the very beginning and are one of the elect, you have to be one of the elect, bottom line. And if you're one of the elect, you're not going to teach, you're not going to break the scriptures down the wrong way. And you're definitely not going to be, you're not going to have a unity camp with another camp that teaches other doctrine. It could be one doctrine that they can say Edomites can make it, because maybe the leader's grandmother on his father's side was an Edomite, and she raised him up because his mother, you know, she was on drugs or whatever the case may be. So the grandmother raised that boy up, so he loved his grandmother more than his mother. But guess what? If she's an Edomite, she's going into captivity. If you're not one of the elect, you're not going to make it. I don't care how many years you put into this truth. If you fall out, it says, he that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. You got too many false prophets out here. You got too many ninjas out here just doing what the hell they want to do. And they started by watching the YouTube videos. So, let me do this. And then if you're one of the elect, you're going to be diligent. You're not going to be a guy that just you get around to it. You know, you call out to the speaking, you know, on the weekend or in the middle of the week or on Sundays, on Saturday, whatever. Some of you guys look forward to going out. Some of you guys look at it as a chore. Oh, I got to go out again. You putting up a video once a month or whatever the case may be. Maybe once a week. It might be a 10-minute video. You really ain't saying much. You ain't edifying the believers. Ultimately, you would have to be one of the non-elect. One of the false prophets. You might have came in on fire, but the fire went out a long time ago. So anyway, came across this video right here. HODC believes the mark of the beast, but won't put, and that's true. They just recently did a video about the mark of the beast being a chip. And I don't believe, maybe they did another video maybe 10 years ago, or whatever the case may be. Or when they first got up, they did one video on the mark of the beast, but they don't do countless videos like we do. We do a lot of videos on the subject of the MOTB. because it's right here. That's the main prophecy before the deliverance and the destruction. So why aren't you teaching it? Because maybe you don't believe that the prophecy is going to come to pass. We here at Great Millstone been teaching it from day one since we got on YouTube, going into the prophecies and going into the mark. We haven't changed. We haven't turned to the right hand or the left hand. We never said, "Oh, it may be. We could be wrong." You never heard us say that. Bring up a video where we said we could be wrong. We're not wrong. So it says HODC believes in the mark of the beast, but won't push it, and that's true. They don't push it. They just recently put a video out, uniting with unbelievers of prophecy, which you're going to see that it's Wi-Fi, and they clearly do not believe in the mark of the beast, the microchip, which means they're not, the Most High is not dealing with them. They're bringing out a lot of precepts, and but that doesn't mean a damn thing. Esau, these Edomite scholars bring out a lot of precepts too. Go to the Bible Hub. Bring out a lot of good precepts. But does that mean that they're Israelites? No. Does that mean that they're one of the elect? No. Does that mean that they're one of the prophets? No. So let's watch this, a little bit of this video. Then I got a list of precepts I wanted to go into.
And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
Right, because he had that power from Satan. Go ahead.
Saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast.
That they should make an image to the beast. Back then, in the beginning stage, an image to the beast was what? Back in the early part of the Roman Empire, what was the image to the beast that they made?
Eagle.
The eagle, and what else? The image of Caesar Borgia.
Oh, yeah, correct.
That was the image of the beast.
He said back there in the Roman Empire, the Roman days. Let's listen to that again. He's wrong on that.
Image to the beast. Back then, in the beginning stage, the image to the beast was what? Back in the early part of the Roman Empire, what was the image to the beast?
Back in the early part of the Roman Empire. So let's say this. Let's say from 65 BC to 95 AD. 100 plus years. He said the early part of the Roman Empire, right? No pictures. They didn't put out no pictures of no Caesar Borgia back there. Caesar Borgia didn't come on the scene until the late 1400s.
That they made.
Eagle.
The eagle, and what else? The image of Caesar Borgia.
Oh, yeah, correct.
They didn't make no image of Caesar Borgia back in the pagan Roman Empire 2,000 years ago. The image is not talking about a picture of Caesar Borgia. So they're clearly going off on that. The image represents their system. This modern day beast, let's call it, they made an image of the ancient beast, whose deadly wound was healed. That's in Revelation 13. They made an image of the beast whose deadly wound was healed. So what you go back to the first two or three verses of Revelation 13. About the second verse, I'm not going to go to it. It says, one of the heads were wounded unto death, but behold, the wound was healed. And they marveled at the wound being healed. So when you go to like the 14, 15 verse of the same chapter, it said that they made an image to the beast. I ain't seen, if that was the case, anytime you see Donald Trump, he would have a picture of Caesar Borgia. the people of this country are following the president. They're looking to see who the president is, and it's a joke. It's a mockery of this system. The so-called founding forefathers are rolling over in their graves because you got this black woman, which is a do-nothing politician. She's a paper pusher, and she's worth now. Everybody's giving so many donations that she's worth almost $500 million. They're gonna put a whole lot of ads and make her look good to get you suckers out there to vote for her. Now the ultimate decision is going to come from the top because they have to push an agenda, and both of them have the same script. They're going to teach whether it's Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. I believe because the Most High can let us go another 10 years and have another two presidents after them. But too many things are happening. The world is too chaotic. I can't possibly see this place going another 10 years. My belief is that I see this place going out inside of the next 4 years. I don't even see it going in that far. But like I said, only the Most High knows the hour. The angels don't know. Yahweh Shai don't know. Only the Father. He has it in his heart the exact day, the exact minute he's going to take this place out. So we got to guess as to when he's going to take this place out. With the way the state, the condition of this planet, I'll be surprised if we go all the way to 2030. You know, they make their promises as to what they're going to do. Then when they get in there, they're going to bring the agenda out of the super elite. And like I said, either one of them, they're ultimately going to introduce you to the world. They're going to introduce you to the world of the CBDCs, the blockchain, Bitcoin, whatever you want to call it. But ultimately, it's going to be a CBDC, and ultimately, they're going to introduce the micro C chip to the whole world, and the majority of the people of the whole planet, they're going to take it. And you know me, I always go into this, but that's the subject. So Bunyamin said the image of the beast back in the early part of the Roman Empire was Caesar Borgia. Caesar Borgia, like I said, he was living in the late 1400s, 1480s, 1490s, 1500. He was around during that time, the same time as Columbus. That was the beginning of the Renaissance. They ain't pushing that. So the image has nothing to do with a picture of Caesar Borgia. Oh, it's the chip and Caesar Borgia. So when you sit down and get the chip, the doctor's going to pull out a picture of Caesar Borgia and tell you to kiss the picture. So you get the micro C hip, and you go to buy something, and they say, "Oh, I'm sorry." Well, I got the chip. Well, you didn't kiss the picture of Caesar Borgia. This is stupidity, man. Because when they come across a word, matter of fact, let me look up the word image. Let me go to Revelation 13 again. So images, it's written 5 times. It said that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. Well, Caesar Borgia never had a wound by a sword. He did have a wound by a sword. That's how he died. He was breaching the wall, and somebody, I believe, shot an arrow at him, thrust him through with a sword, and he died on the battlefield because he was a warrior. And he never came back to life. So that's not Caesar Borgia. The image, the Renaissance image during the time of Christopher Columbus, during the time of Caesar Borgia, that was an actual a commission painting of the Christ. And it was blessed by his father, the Pope at that time, Alexander VI of Spain. People say of Rome. The power came out of Spain. It didn't come out of Rome. It came out of Rome. We're talking 15 years before that. The power shifted to Spain. So they had an image, and they wasn't giving out to people. In other words, when they came to the Americas, they were pushing the image and Christianity, which is Roman Catholicism, on the people. And part of their religious right was this is Jesus. This is what Jesus looked like. This is what Jesus looked like. So here we're coming into this is our time. We're living in this time. It says the image of the beast, which is the beast, the Roman Empire, which had the wound by a sword and did live. It was wounded unto death, and behold, it came back to life. What is that talking about? Going back to the Renaissance, going back to Christopher Columbus. That's when the beast came back to life. The beginning stages of the beast was during that time period. So we're like the 500th year of the beast living. America, Canada, NATO, EU. What about the UN? Ain't that about? Nope. UN is not a part of the beast. UN works with the beast, but the UN is not a part of the beast. The woman, the scarlet color that sitteth upon the beast, is the beast, but at the same time is separate from the beast. That's why ultimately the beast nation that possess ICBMs, they're going to shoot it on Babylon the Great. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And that's the system. Ultimately, they're going to cut you off. And ultimately, the image in this time represents the MOTB. And it says if you don't take the MOTB, some of you are going to be cast into prison. Some of you are going to be beheaded by a new millennium, guillotine. So now let's look up the word image. So the IUIC is going off on this breakdown, and the HODC is going off on this breakdown. And the HODC just came around to the fact that Cornelius is an Israelite. For years, they couldn't see it. They slow bellies. Now the word image is icon, which is icon, which is like a picture. An image, figure, likeness. An image of a thing, the heavenly things, use of the moral likeness of renewed men to God. the image of the Son of God, into which true Christians are transformed, is likeness not only to the heavenly body, but also to the most holy and blessed state of mind which the Messiah possesses. The image of one in whom the likeness of anyone is seen. They have a saying, you're a spitting image of your father. Is a splitting or spitting image of your father. Meaning, doesn't mean he has to look like his father, doesn't mean he is his father, but he has the attributes of his father. He's like unto his father. You got several of these individuals through the years of the NBA. You have an NBA a player, especially a top player. That we're going to deal with LeBron James. He has sons. One of his sons is playing on the Lakers with his father. And he's not as good as his father, but he's good enough to make the NBA. You know, you have boxers that are great boxers. They might have got a few title shots, never won the title, but their son becomes, you know, a great fighter and gets multiple titles in multiple weight divisions because he followed his father, and the mistakes that his father made corrected it in his son. So he's the image of his father. That doesn't mean he looks like his father. Like he looked different from his father because of his mother. His mother could be an Edomite. So image is also a system. When you have a brand name, you make an image to the brand name, right? It said, applied to men on account of his power of command, the Messiah on account of his divine nature and absolute moral excellence. When you see pictures of what we say the Messiah is, we're not saying that that's what the Messiah looked like. We're saying that he would look like this man on the picture. We're not saying that that's an image of Yahweh Shai that we bow down to. So the image, matter of fact, let me go here. Let me go to the root of that. Because you got guys that are saying, oh, the mark of the beast is Roman Catholicism. And part of Roman Catholicism is the image of the... So you can't buy and sell. So what are you going to do? Go to BJ's and you go up there and they're going to ask you, do you believe in the image of the beast? And they say, yeah. They're going to pull out a picture of Caesar Borgia and say, kiss it 2 times. And you're going to kiss it 2 times and you can take your groceries. Then a Muslim pop up. I don't believe it. And it says that the mark, the microchip, the microchip is going to, everybody, including Muslims, Buddha, people that follow Buddha, practitioners of Buddhism, the Baha'i faith, warlocks, witches, atheists. Atheists is going to have the mark. You really think an atheist is going to kiss the image of Caesar Borgia? You really think a Muslim, you got a billion, how many, you got billions. That's the one of the 2 top religions on the planet is Christianity and all of its forms, and Islam. Christianity and Islam. So these people, these billions of people, what is it, 3-4 billion Muslims, they're gonna all get in the lockstep and they're gonna all kiss the picture of Caesar Borgia and accept Christianity? You got to be out your fucking mind. The small hats, they don't accept they don't accept any Messiah, but they're going to take the chip. And this is a sign how we know who the scriptures say try the spirit, whether they be the Most High. If a guy says, oh, the mark of the beast is sin in all of its forms, whether it be political or religious, they're going to be found out to be a false prophet. You can't say, well, I got 95% of the truth. You got to have 100% of the truth. You got Israelites now teaching that there's an eternal hell, and then you got people that are following them. Okay, so it says Ico, apparently a root word akin to blah 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 blah, fitness and copy, blah 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 blah. For he that wavereth is like. So the word image is like. He's like his father. He plays like his father. He acts like his father. Likeness does not mean you have to look exactly like your father. You have to be likened unto your father. You do things that your father used to do. He is like. So now let me get into this. So they're clearly off on Caesar Borgia being the image of the beast.
That was the image of the beast.
And he causes all, both small and great.
So now it's coming down to our time now. Because this didn't happen during the time of John was living. It didn't happen 400 years ago. It didn't happen 100 years ago. But now it's coming down to the time that we live in.
There was no Caesar Borgia during the time John was living on the Isle of Patmos.
And now that this is going to happen. Continue.
And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
See, and that mark is the chip. The mark of the beast. That's the chip.
Now you should go. You can go deeper into that and go. That's why you have the blue letter. That's why you have concordance. The King James Bible that we read, the Old Testament is translated from Hebrew and Aramaic and Book of Daniel, because Aramaic was the language and writing of the Babylonians, because they were Assyrians. And the New Testament was translated into Greek. The writers, the first 4 Gospels were written in Hebrew, then translated into Greek, then translated also into Latin, the Vulgate, from Hebrew to Greek to the Latin to Vulgate, back to the English, but then you go back to the Hebrew to get a bit of deeper understanding of the word. So the mark is an actual thing. It's a physical thing that's going to be put into your physical hand or your physical forehead. So when you look up the word there is charagma, which is a physical thing. The root word is charax, which is a physical thing. The root word to that is grapho. And grapho is the information, but grapho is when a guy chisels something, he's not chiseling the stone. He's chiseling somebody's name in there, like a grave marker. What do you call that? Gravestone. They'll put Mr. Smith born. He'll chisel it. He'll say Mr. Smith born on so and so and such, 1920 to 2001. Husband, father, and so forth, right? Beloved man in his community, right? That's what the grapho is all about. They're using the chisel. That's why the only other time, matter of fact, I got to go to this. We know it, but I got to go to it for you others out there. So you got the IUIC going into the Bible Hub now. And in the Bible Hub, they'll give you those root words. You notice they never go to the blue letter, because if you go to the blue letter, why do we go to the blue letter in the first place? To get a deeper understanding of the word in English. Now, what does it say in the prologue of of Ecclesiasticus in Sirach. It says in not too many words that the Hebrew has more power than the actual word written in the in that particular language, whether it be English. The Hebrew has more power to that word. And where the hell did I say I was going to go? Okay, Revelation. Back to Revelation 13 and 16. So all IUIC has to do is go to the word mark. What is it, last week or the week before that, Bishop Nate said, oh, the marker is another way of saying sin. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this. So that would mean the word mark would have to go to the word sin. Then he goes to Job. Concerning the mark is sin, which has nothing to do with Revelation 13:16. The word there is charagma. Even the blue letter knows this. Of the mark stamped on the forehead or right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. The mark branded upon horses. Thing carved. Well, you carve in the wood, but in the stone you chisel, engrave, right? Sculpture, grave, right? That's if you want it, you can make a plaque out of wood and put somebody's name in it, right? Or you can take a stone like a gravestone, and you don't carve in a gravestone. You graven work of idolatrous images, and then you have engravers that can actually engrave your. Well, perfect example is the four tetrarchs. Somebody with great skill sculpted from stone the four tetrarchs, which one of them was the father of Constantine the Great, which is Constantius. There were four of them. When you read about the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire, two of them had the Eastern Roman Empire, and two of them had the Western Roman Empire. The Western Roman Empire fell to Jake. Jake was ruling the Western Roman Empire. The Eastern Roman Empire that continued is known in history as the Byzantine Empire. Constantinople, the Christian kingdom on earth. Another word for that is the Eastern Empire. So these were great men, the four tetrarchs. So somebody chiseled. You have busts of different emperors, right? You have busts on Julius Caesar. You have busts on Vespasian. You have busts on Antipater. There's actually a bust of Antipater. He looks just like an Edomite. So what did they use? They use what is called a charagma. Mark is written here. If you just put in the word mark, mark is going to be mentioned in the scriptures maybe 8,000 times. But this is a particular mark, G5480. And then you notice it's all scriptures in Revelation except for Acts. What does it say in Acts 17:29? For then as we are the offspring of the Father. Are we the actual offspring of the Father? Is Yahweh's name written on our birth certificate? Oh, the Father is named Yahweh. No. We're spiritual sons of the Most. Just like Yahweh Shai is a spiritual son of the Father, the number one son. We ought not to think that the Godhead, that the Most High, is like unto gold. What did Paul mean by that? God is not a image. It's not like a trophy or a graven image. You can't say, well, this is God. Let me put him on my mantle over here. Let me show off God. This is God. No, that's what idols was all about. Or silver or stone graven by art and men's device. What does the word graven mean? It means you took a chisel and you chiseled out an image, the person's name. So we know that this word charagma or mark goes back to the word charagma, which is graven. Graven. So the mark is not an inanimate object. It's not a thought in the air. It's an actual physical thing. And if Bishop Nathaniel don't know it, he should know it. After all the times that we done went through this, he should wake up and see it. He should experience an epiphany, a eureka moment. And like I said this before, I believe he knows that it's the chip. That's why he's kind of hinting on it. There could be a chip in there too. He's kind of sneaking it in there. Now maybe he just doesn't know. Maybe his pride won't let him know. Maybe the Most High blinded him. Or maybe he got the bag. Maybe he was pulled to the side and told, like a so-called God-sent comforter, Tazadakia, he did a class on the mark, and he said it's socialism. I remember him saying that. I can't find a video. Don't ask me what the video is. I can't find it. This was years ago. He did a class while he was living, and he went into the Revelation 13 and 16, and he said the mark of the beast is socialism. Well, guess what? America is a socialist. America is a national socialist society. When they say Nazi Germany, guess what? America is Nazi America. You say Nazi, they think Nazi just means it's short or acronym for National Socialism. If you have a house with you and your wife, you have no children, or your children go to college, you still got to pay property taxes. Property taxes through the federal government and state government is to pay for the schools. So you might say, oh, well, we never had kids. And it doesn't matter. You still got to pay the tax because that's socialism. That's socialism. When you get welfare, food stamps, Section 8, when they fix the roads because they get the money through taxes, whether you want it or not. When you go to a job, you can't say, I don't want the taxes taken out. I want to keep my taxes. My decision is to keep the taxes. Then you don't get the job. Because you got to pay for the lights, this, that, and the other. That's socialism. That's socialism. So how in the fuck can the mark? That means we all got the mark. That means Tazadakia had the mark when he was alive. That means High Priest Ariah got the mark. That means we all got the mark. So we're doomed. These people say all these things and go off because the Most High haven't opened up their eyes. And they're not prophets. They're false prophets. All these guys, as it stands, Bishop Nate is a false prophet. Elder Bunyamin is a false prophet. So now, let me come back over here. Let me bring it back.
Them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast.
That they should make an image to the beast. Back then, in the beginning stage, an image to the beast was what? Back in the early part of the Roman Empire, what was the image of the beast that they made?
Eagle.
The eagle and what else? The image of Caesar Borgia.
Oh, yeah, right, all right.
That was
Caesar Borgia, there was no image of Caesar Borgia during the pagan Roman Empire. Almost, but we're talking 2,000, more than 2,000 years ago. Julius didn't introduce an image of Caesar Borgia. What's his name? Augustus didn't introduce the image. Tiberius didn't introduce the image. Caligula, Claudius, Nero. None of them introduced the Vespasian. None of them introduced the image and told people you got to bow down to it or you can't buy and sell. So they're dead wrong on that.
the image of the beast.
And he causes all, both small and great.
So now it's coming down all time now. Because this didn't happen during the time of John was living. It didn't happen 400 years ago. It didn't happen 100 years ago. But now it's coming down to the time that we're living in now that this is going to happen. Continue.
And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
See, and that mark is the chip. The mark of the beast. That's the chip. That RF that he's going to place in people's hands. I'm going to play a...
Now, I'm not going to say, oh, these guys been watching us. No, they said it. When they first got on YouTube, they did say that. They said that it's the microchip. But they don't push it. As the title says, they don't push it. They haven't maybe the last time they made a video was maybe more than 10 years ago on the chip. They said maybe one thing about the chip. Oh, Barack. Well, I don't even know where he is. I don't know if he fell off or what. I haven't seen Barack in a while. Where the hell is Barack? Elder Barack or whatever. He said many years ago when this guy Barack Obama came into office, he said that that's the Antichrist. Well, guess what? The Antichrist came and went. Then he changed it up when Trump came into office. He said that Trump is gonna cause people to build a big statue of Trump. That ain't happen. That ain't gonna happen in the future. Trump ain't gonna say we're gonna make a big statue and you're gonna bow down to that statue. This is what this fool Barack said.
A video here. I wish I could get it set up on the monitor. But this was done in 1990. I want you all to listen good to it. It's a song too. But they're telling you exactly what was going to be promoted and brought out in the future.
Might buy or sell.
See, now it's going to what? Economics. Right? It's going into a digital currency system now. That no man might buy or sell. Go ahead.
Save he that had the mark or the name of the beast.
And the name of the beast. Okay? The mark is that chip. All right? And the name of the beast is the new world order.
Watch how the elders of the HODC tell his men, pay no attention to the IUIC as they march. He may know why they fight against a microchip. Marching. This was years ago. This is a gimmick. Hey, the same. You know what? The Nation of Islam, the NOI, used the same thing. They all had the same clothes, the same pants, shirt, trench coat, whatever. And they would march, and a lot of people joined the NOI because they were marching. I remember when I was a kid, when I was like 4 years old. When the Nation of Islam came out, I remember seeing them marching and wearing it, and I was impressed as a little four-year-old. So wow, look at that. They showed you that in the movie X by Spike Lee. where Malcolm had a march in front of the police department. They were all dressed the same way, and they had the cadence and all that, and they all turned left and right, and it shook up the police. And there was this one guy that saw it, and he ran into Malcolm X. They made that up. He ran into Malcolm X in a restaurant, and he said, "Man, you guys, I never seen a black man tell a white man off, and the way you guys march out, it's a gimmick." See, a lot of people are part of the Nation of Islam, and you can't tell a Nation of Islam or Islamic Jake nothing, because the hardest person to get to convert to being an Israelite is a Muslim. There's a special demon on that person, man. They'll fight tooth and nail. Not to get this. So what do you got to do? You got to leave them alone. You notice the IUIC don't march around the NOI. Now you march around the church, but I don't know why aren't you marching around the NOI buildings, the different mosques out there with Jake in it? I mean, are you picking and choosing who you think should be saved? You go all them churches and nothing happens at them churches. Complete waste of time. They get invited in the churches and they're talking to the pastor, which was a woman, the new one out. Ain't nothing gonna come of that. You really think she's gonna give up the church to you guys? That means she's gonna have to give up all that money. There's money being made in them churches, them big mega churches. Them Jakes are living good. Them Jakes are millionaires. Them big mega churches. Them pastors are multi-millionaires. They fly on private jets, or they own their jet, or they get their congregation to buy them a jet. They don't stay in no rundown hotel. When they go to minister, if they go to Africa, they'll go to the slums of Africa, and they're talking about we helping the kids in Africa, but they're staying in the top hotel that you can go to. The top hotels that you can go to. And they eat the best food. What do you think, Bishop Nathaniel, when he goes over there? I can be wrong, but I highly doubt that Bishop Nathaniel is going to sit and coach. I highly doubt that. And he got a crew of guys. He might have 20 guys with him. I guarantee you. Tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I said okay. I stand corrected. I can't see the bishop. I can't see him. I can't say. I've been on planes. I rode in coaches. It's basically a bus. It's basically a bus. You got somebody sitting next to you. Maybe you like or you don't like. You hoping that you get the window. First class is a whole different ball game. Matter of fact, let me do this. I'm making this kind of long, so if you want to go somewhere, you go somewhere. Okay, let me come here and I'll come back. You know what? Let me do it this way. Let me do it this way. I'm sorry. Let me do it this way. I want to go to images. Flying. I'm sorry. Flying. Give me a second. First, class. Flying first class. Bear with me for a minute. Go to images. There, that's first class right there. That's first class. Now tell me, Bishop Nate, tell me that you're flying coach, and I'll apologize. That's first class. I've been on planes at night. They didn't have no bed for me. I had to sit my ass up straight. Get some more. You ain't gonna. This ain't coach. If whether you know it, whether you ever been on a plane or not, this ain't coach. This is first class. Everybody in first class got a smile on their face, and they eat a different menu than the coach. They don't even give you. They think they give you a. They used to give you a little. Back when I was, as a young man, they used to give you Salisbury steak, different, Look at that. This is flying. This is flying first class. And it costs a hell of a lot more money than flying coach. Now look at that, man. Look at that. That's first class. Hey, nowadays, you got to catch a cell to get a coach for like $300 or whatever. I remember when flying was cheap. You catch a cell, you can go from here to damn California and round trip for about $100, man. $50 either way. Very inexpensive. This is first class. Can you picture Bishop Nathaniel sitting in coach? Huh? I can't. Okay, so let's come back over here.
This
is not what I want. And see, they're marching with 1,000 guys and they're blowing a horn. They're disturbing the peace. They ain't teaching the gospel. They're just marching. And a lot of people are going to join because they said, wait, we're all wearing the same garment. They're goose stepping. I got to get with them. Nah, that's the thing to get with.
Right. Shalom, and all praises to the Most High, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'd like to thank the brothers watching of Israel, the brothers from
This got to be Baltimore. I don't know what year this happened, but they had a unity camp with the Wi-Fi. Which, by the way, the Wi-Fi, which is the head guy is Naquam, a young dude, all right? You know what the scriptures say about a novice? He used to come to our camp with a bunch of guys that was with him, maybe 10 guys with him, and but we didn't know that they were also going to Priest Sabak's camp. Now, Priest Sabak is against the mark of the beast. Now, let's say Priest Sabak was teaching the mark of the beast, the microchip. We were teaching, of course we are. Nate was teaching. All the camp, ISUPK was teaching. What do you think the Wi-Fi are going to teach? They're going to teach that the mark of the beast is a chip, right? If all the One West camps said the same thing, just like most of the people that come into this thing and they set up their own camps, the Sabbath is Friday, Sunday, and Saturday, sundown. Where do they get it from? By watching these other camps. And they come across our video, we say it's based upon the new moon. They'll say, well, something must be wrong with the GMS. But if everybody said they said the so-called Jays, the Jays, Friday sundown, Saturday sundown, all these camps, they said it's not Friday sundown, Saturday sundown. Those Jays teach that because in Daniel 7 it said they shall seek to change times and laws. So they'll see it and they'll say, no, you guys are right. It's based upon the new moon. But because you have the majority of the camps teaching that the Sabbath is Friday sundown and Saturday sundown, which they're following the small hats, people are they're gonna pick and choose. So here you got, let me read this. It's ironic that the HODC unites with the Watchman Israel, who's against the MOTB, Mark of the Beast, but somehow they're so-called united. How does that work? Right, how does that work? You should have put 4 or 5 question marks. How does that work? So you're gonna let that slide. What if they taught that if you and Edomites can make it too? Are you going to unite with them? So you got 2 different camps with 2 opposing doctrines in unity. How can 2 walk together except they be agreed? So this is complete madness. And then the HODC should have known based upon what they did with FOPI. Y'all would go out of your way to go down to Washington to have a unity camp with FOPI. And what did FOPI do to y'all? They kicked y'all to the curb, man. They started talking shit about y'all. They learned enough from y'all to move on and do their own thing. Which the FOPI, they teach. They completely went against the sign. In other words, if you're a Puerto Rican, Dominican, or whatever, you're a Brazilian, then you're a heathen. So they totally going in a different direction. So how can you have a unity camp when there's no 100% unity? This is madness, man. And then here you got Banyamyam praising these guys. And the leaders sucking it all in. And he's a young man. Have you not considered that this guy's a young man? He's not a grown man. And he just came in. I believe they came to the camp on 34th Street. I believe the first time they rolled up on us was 2016. So we're talking not even 10 years. So they a lot of stuff that they teach, they got a lot of the breakdowns they got from us. And some of the breakdowns they got from Zabak. So this is complete madness right here. Let's watch a little bit more.
Ram Gadal Gabriel, and I'm from the House of David, and we're here in Baltimore. And we're here to drop the word to the people of the Most High. It's a pleasure to see the young men, which give me strength, which gives me glory to see the young men continuing to hold this torch down.
They ain't holding the torch down because they're not teaching the full gospel. The scriptures speak about adding to the word and taking away from the word. Try the spirits by the spirits. So guess what? You gave them a boost and praising them. They're teaching the gospel's wrong. They're teaching part of the gospel the wrong way, and here you are praising them on that. What kind of sense does that make?
With all praise and credit to the young man doing this job. I congratulate all these young brothers.
So let me get this straight. If some faithful person looking for the truth comes up and asks them about the mark of the beast, what answer would both camps give, even though they don't agree?
Holding this torch down. This touchdown. Give all praise and credit to the young man that's doing this job.
No, yeah,
I congratulate all these young brothers that's holding this torch down. To see the young brothers doing this work gives me joy. To see that all the years that we put in, the Most High still left a young man to carry on this great job.
Bahashem Yahawashai Bahashem Racha
So let's listen
HaKodash.
to a little bit of this.
And double honors to the elder apostles and the bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to you brethren, your fellow believers of this ministry, this faith. And shalom to the elect. So, anyway, I decided to go to the HODC. I actually went to the page. I just wanted to know. I believe a while back I heard Elder Apostle Tahar say something about the HODC and they're not pushing the mark. So this was a while ago, but I didn't forget that. So I went to their page and looked up, you know, you can type in there, go to their main channel, and you can type in the mark, you know, the MOTB, right? I see nothing. So I go to Google, I see nothing. So then I go to this video that I think might bring that out, which is, he titled it The Image of the Beast. So then I found him, admitted it there. The one time, I think that video might have been up 2 years ago. I don't know if they had previous video, but I did a search on the channel, and there's no title in that whatsoever. So I don't think they take it serious. And this is why we do these videos, right? This prophecy, you know, got these unity camps and our people are waking up. But you got to teach. This is why we say Great Millstone has the 100% truth, according to doctrine. It makes sense. They know the truth. And they're at the unity camp, right? And Elder Benyamin, he knows this IUIC is pretty much sold out. But who will stand for the faith? You know, Jude 1 says contend for the faith, right? And that's why all these groups have problems with us, because we're not afraid to stand and defend the gospel. We're not afraid to go after other camps in doctrine. That's our job. Our job is to try to wake up the elect, right? Our job is to mark them that cause division contrary to doctrine, because you got new people coming in, so we must do it. We must condemn, we must correct, we must rebuke these false doctrines. We got to. Because other than that, you have these groups socializing together, and when the serious prophecy of Revelation 13 come to pass, they're not going to know what to do. Now, I will say, some years back on a couple of channels I had, when we went at Wi-Fi, Watchmen of Israel on the mark, did you know, I remember quite a few people came on the comment board and said, well, I can see it. I don't know if they converted. I don't know anything. I just feel we're doing our job, right? We're doing our job. So a whole bunch of scriptures came to mind when I saw this. So I'll try to make it quick and get to the point. This is 1 Corinthians 1 and 10. 1 Corinthians 1 and 10. I don't think they understand the seriousness of being in one body, as Ephesians 4. That's another video scripture came to mind. We are to be in one body, one faith, one hope of our calling. And when you read on down to maybe the 15th verse or somewhere around there, it says, be not carried away, tossed to and fro in every wind of doctrine. Right? 1 Corinthians 1 and 10. Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Yahushua, that ye all speak the same thing, that there be no divisions among you. So the only way there's going to be a division, right, if somebody stands up and say, look, this is not right. They look at this as a petty matter. But that's how you're not going to have divisions if you decide to try to agree, we go along, get along, you know, so forth. But you're not in the spirit.
That's not scriptural. Go along to get along. You can't go along. If a guy's going off, if a guy in the camp commits adultery with a brother's wife and they come back to you, he's out. Did you commit it? Yes, I have. Such and such and so and so. You out. You out, man. You are out. Okay? This is why we don't have no women among us. Because women breeds wickedness. So let me go into these precepts, man. Can two walk together except they be agreed, right? Amos 3, verse 3, we already know that. Can two walk together except they be agreed? You have to agree in everything 100%. 1 Corinthians 1 and 10, that ye all speak the same thing, that there be no divisions among you. Matter of fact, let's get that, because I want to pull out that word divisions. That's why you have this confusion. Hey, the Apostle Paul said the Lord is not the author of confusion. This is confusion. If you got one camp of Israel teaching a certain doctrine, you got another camp, they come together. Camp B believes that Edomites can make it. You have no business being with that camp. Period. Point blank and period. So let's go to that. Now I beseech thee, brethren, by the name of Yahweh. Now, we can never have a unity camp with the IUIC because they call on Christ. There ain't no way in hell we're going to line up and say Most High and Christ bless. That ye all speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions among you, but that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment. In the same mind and in the same judgment. If you get with a woman, like this is years ago, my 20s, I was engaged to a woman, and we would have arguments because we would say, because her father was very well off, but he was living in Atlanta, so she said, we're going to move to Atlanta. You know, because if I get into any financial situation, I got my father. And I said, I ain't trying to move to Atlanta. You know? Then we were arguing about kids. When we have kids, they're gonna be Christians. I said, nope, they're gonna be Israel. So ultimately, we went our separate ways. You can't get with a woman if she has one set of things that she wants to do as far as the marriage is together, and then you got another thing. If you act like it'll go away, no, you're gonna have troubles. You're gonna wind up breaking up, and that's why you shouldn't marry anyway. And on this side, you shouldn't be married. You should have a woman. If she's into you, she's into you, man. You don't got to go to the judge and get no fucking marriage certificate. Because if she said that you hit her, you ain't touched her. And there's videos on it. This one guy was filming his woman. Oh, he beat me up. He's filming it while she's laying on the bed. And I probably got it in my favorites. Somewhere I got it. And he's filming it. And he ain't doing nothing. So now his thing was, when the police came, he'll show them, look. And they might fuck him up anyway. But he says, look, I got the whole thing on video. I taped everything. You can see she's laying down. You see I'm 50 feet away from her. But what if the police don't want to hear that? What if he never recorded it? They would arrest him because of her word. And if he said, there's no marks on her, they'll say, well, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. This is what police officers told me. I came up with a lot of men and friends that I had, not initial friends, but friends that I was cool with. A lot of them became police. And like one time I got pulled over and said, oh shit, it was my friend, high school friend. I said, oh man, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm a police officer. This, so we talk. And anytime they pull a friend that I had in high school that was a cop, if they see me, they said, nah, go on out of here, man. Nah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I ain't gonna give you no ticket. But anyway, Anyway, let's get back into this. I'm sorry. I'm going off track. Anyway, going back to the woman, right? If she says, oh, he hit me. He slapped me 2 times. If your girlfriend and boyfriend, the police might try to work it out. But if you're married, they're going to take you in. And then you got to go through the court system. You got to go before the judge. And you're going to have to prove that there was no marks on her. But then if you got a jury, and most of them are women, and the rest of them are alphabet people, they're going to say you're going to jail. Oh, what happened to my man, the actor? What's this guy's name? Help me out, y'all. He ain't been acting in a while. Over that situation with the Edomite. The Edomite assaulted him. He pulled himself away from her, and I guess she got scratched. He ran from the woman. He was still found to be guilty of some form of assault. And she initiated the assault and chased this guy. So he found out the hard way. Don't deal with no Edomites, man. And then he's dealing with Megan Good. Well, she's the who of Babylon, bro. She had her legs spread for everybody and anybody. So that shit ain't gonna work out. You got with that Edomite woman, you went from the frying pan to the fire. Do not marry a black woman, man. Don't listen to the IUIC. And what happens in the IUIC? There's a lot of adultery that goes on in the IUIC. Well, I'm not going to say a lot, but adultery happens in the IUIC. There ain't no adultery in GMS because there ain't no woman coming around. Now, I beseech you, brethren, by the name of Yahweh, by the name of Kairos, our superior, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, that ye all speak the same thing. And that means that, the same thing. You have a franchise. I'll give you another example. You have McDonald's. Any McDonald's that you go to, they all make it the same way. They all make a cheeseburger the same way. Unless you go down south or maybe into Connecticut. Like down south, up here, they put ketchup. Down south, they put mustard. So you don't know no better. You think you're getting it. But it all should be the same thing. The way they make the Five Guys burgers and fries, the burger is made the same way. No matter where you go, to California, go to New York, go to New Jersey, go to wherever, Connecticut, go to Maryland, you go to the Five Guys, they're going to make it the same way. So here, you got Israelites that teach in the name of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, but they got certain different things. That's not good. That's not good. So somebody's going off. It says, speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions among you, but that ye be perfectly joined together. If you build a house, you got a contractor that builds a house shoddy, what's going to happen? If they build a roof, redo the roof, and a brand new roof, and it leaks, what happened? They didn't build it perfectly joined together. If you go to a roof of a house, you see how the tiles are upon each other. That's to, over top of one another. That's there for a reason. So nothing could get in. So guess what? HODC getting with Wi-Fi, there's holes in that. And that there should be no division among you, but that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind and the same judgment. So that's completely, that unity camp stuff is completely out of order. The only ones that could be in the GMS camp are members of GMS. And if they teach something wrong, they're going to be brought to the side and corrected. And if they teach it again, they're going to get kicked out. And I see we need another house cleaning. This time, Yahweh about Shem Yahweh Shai going to house clean you guys that are, oh, I got to go out on Saturday again. I don't want to go out. For it have been declared unto me. Oh, I'm sorry. Right, it came up to them that there were divisions. Guys were teaching their own thing. So the Apostle Paul had to correct that, man. The best policy to use, if a guy goes off, you warn him. If a guy goes off again, you warn him a second time. If he gets correct, you good. If he goes off a third time and a fourth time, you got to think about kicking this guy out. He's got a pattern there, man. We had this one guy, every 6 months we suspend him. He'd come back, be good for a couple of weeks, then he'd do something stupid, then he got suspended again. There was a point where I said, one more time, and he's out of it. Well, he's out of the, he's cool. Brother still see him. He's a cool brother. You know, I like the brother. But he was younger back then. But he would do certain things. Oh, we kicked out a bunch of guys on one Passover. There's one Passover, and brothers had their best garments, and stuff came up. Judgment Day came up, and we kicked out a lot. We said, look, you guys turn around and hit the door. And here they are smelling the lamb, the cooked lamb and all that. And they had to leave. And they never came back. They were never invited back. We had one guy that I kicked out. The Spirit told me to kick this guy out. Then he kind of went out on his own. And this was years later. And we ran into him. And we were happy to see him. And I forget why I did. I let him back in the camp. And he was cool for a number of years. Then all of a sudden he just left. He said, I can't do this no more. And then from what I heard, he follows that black consciousness shit. So I told him, brothers, I said, see, when I say something, brother, I know if I make a decision, brother, that's the Spirit that's on me from the first time when I kicked him out. Even when we let him back in. See, once you get kicked out, now, if it's unjustly, you can have a daughter come back in. But if you are such a messy character that you get kicked out, it's going to take a miracle to get back in. And if you're not ultimately of the elect, you're not going to get in, period. Right? So it says, and that there be, and I feel bad for the Apostle Paul. The Apostle Paul had to deal with a lot of mess with all these Gentiles, man. The Peter and them, they had pretty much an easy go at it. But the Apostle Paul, he had a hard go at it because all these people were raised up in different, mainly they were Hellenized. The Hellenized, being a Greek, you can wife swap, you know, you can be involved in orgies, you can eat whatever you want to eat. They had the men with the long hair. You had in the Hellenized, the Greeks. A lot it was accepted behavior to be moles. So you had people that came into the truth under Paul that were moles, and Paul spoke about that. He said, and such were some of you. Effeminate. He said some of you guys were effeminate. Adultery was going on in 1 Corinthians chapter 5, where a man slept with his father's wife. So Paul had a hard time, you know. And Paul, when he got put to death, he was pretty much happy to get put to death. Oh, he said that. He said it'd be far better. Because he said that them dealing with them people, Corinth was number one. That was the hardest church to deal with. So it says, and this is why we don't tolerate these different camps. And this is why I said, look, Hassad is a persona non grata. Hakar is a persona non grata. Vocab is a persona non grata. That's why we say call the cops on them. In other words, I mean, don't deal with them. We're not going to have a discussion. We're not going to have a discussion with Vocab Malone, because if you would have convinced us, you would have convinced us years ago, 8 years ago. You ain't going to convince us of nothing. So it says that there be no divisions among you. Divisions. Let's look up the word divisions. divisions, rent, schisms. When a group of guys leave another camp, that you can also use the word rent to separate. Division. Schisms. That there should be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care one for another. The Grecian, the widows in Acts chapter 6, that was a schism. That they weren't treating them right because they weren't born as Israelites in the country. They were from out of the country that believed that they were Israelites. So Peter had to set up 7 men full of good report and full of the Holy Spirit. He said, because we can't be a part of this business. We gotta be on the forefront of pushing the gospel. Okay, so schism, right? Let me do this. You also get the word heresy, which is pretty much the same word. A heretic. Let me go to heretic. Heretic. I'm also look up the word heresy. Okay, Titus 3 verse 10. Let me go to the NLT. If people are causing division among you, give a first and second warning. After that, having nothing more to do with them. When you have nothing more to do with a person, that person is a persona non grata. A person that we can't accept. Now, we went back and forth with Assad, so now he's coming, going to the Raleigh camp, trying to, I got you answer my question. You have to answer my question. No, we don't. It says after the first and second warning, in the King James admonition, after that, have nothing more to do with them. We have nothing to do with you. Even if you say I got it right, you guys are right, I want to join your camp. You can't join our camp. You're out. No, you can't come into this, man. The demon led you to the ISUPK, then he led you to Sakari, and then Sakari kicked you out. So we know that the Most High ain't dealing with you. We quick to kick somebody out if your fucking ass ain't right. We'll work with you. But if we said we can't work with this guy no more, he's out this motherfucker. And we may just keep suspending you for 6 months until you figure it out that we don't want you no more. So we got to deal with this mess with all these demons, man. Ephesians 2 verse 21, in whom all the building fitly framed. This goes hand in hand with 1 Corinthians 1 verse 10. What does it mean to be fitly framed? If you got a contractor that puts a building together and then leaks and shit gets all cracked and the roof, the first rain comes and your roof is leaking, you're going to sue that guy. You're going to look to kill that guy. And then because you paid a cheaper price, you get what you pay for, as they say. So then you're going to have to get another contractor that has a reputation that would say, well, first of all, these guys did a quick easy job. They were all in it for the money. They ain't in it for the pride of their work. So that means you got to do the roof all over again, or you got to build a building again from ground up. And that's what, when you get two camps together that have one thing that's off on it, that's not fitly framed together. There's a hole there. There's a hole there. There's holes in your doctrine. IUIC got a lot of holes in their doctrine. One hole is they'll tell somebody, pursuant to 1 Corinthians chapter 11, they'll tell a guy, if he's standing in the audience with a hat on, they'll waste 15 minutes telling the guy, you should take your hat off because that's against the law and the Most High can kill you, and if he kills you, you're going to burn in hell forever. You got to take your hat off for the Most High. And the same guy that might be saying it might have long hair. And in the same chapter, it speaks about a man not having long hair. So that's a hole right there. It says, in whom all the building fitly framed together groweth unto an holy temple. The third temple is what? The Israelites coming together. In Yahweh, in whom ye also are built together for an habitation of the Most High through the Spirit. So the Spirit got to let you know that this guy ain't right. So you got to get rid of him. All right? And a lot of you guys in the main camp, you know that certain things guys are doing that's not right. They should be kicked out of camp for that. And y'all don't say nothing. Y'all see the guy doing it and y'all don't say nothing. And it got to eventually come to one of us. The ones you that have a leadership position, you got to exercise your leadership position. Or the Most High will put you out of there. Just because you're a member of GMS does not make you the elect. It says, he that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved, delivered. And if you're teaching secret doctrines, you behind our back saying, well, I don't agree with Darnum say about this scripture, but I ain't going to say nothing. Guess what? You're not one of the elect. And then you got a lot of men that follow. I can't look at a guy and say you're the elect, you're not the elect. But you got a lot of young men that come into these different camps, and when if the leader leaves or he's disenchanted, them guys are going to go right back into the world. So we're going to go to Ephesians 4 and 4, then we're going to jump to 11. You really should read the whole chapter. And this is back to the basics. Try to read fast. There is one body and one spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling. One Lord, which is Yahweh. One faith. One belief system. One baptism. One power and one Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. But unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of the Messiah. So some guys get more than others. Some guys love doing this. Some guys it's a chore to do this. '11th verse. And he gave some apostles and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors, and some teachers. And guess what? We all got to teach the same thing. The prophets got to speak the words of the apostle. That's why there's a rank and file. Evangelists got to work with the prophets. Pastors, teachers with the prophets and the apostles. For the perfecting of the saints. For the work of the ministry. What is the work of the ministry? The work of the ministry is to get these precepts together so when you go out there and minister, you get it right. If there's a guy that goes to one GMS camp, then he goes to another one, and they teaching two different they might be teaching all the same thing, but they might go off on certain points. And the guy said, well, these guys not even organized. Then we're going to have to get involved and say, why do you teach this? We didn't teach you that way. Well, I see it this way. Well, guess what? You can go your own way. You know, we're not afraid to let people go, or if they want to leave, you can leave. It can go back to a skeleton crew. Okay? We don't need a bunch of warm bodies, and everybody got to do the work diligently. Not once a week, not once a month, not once a week doing a 15-minute video. Doing just enough. The scriptures say, give diligence to make thy calling and election sure. Apostle Paul says, and that ye all, that ye all are of the same diligence. Earnest, right? Endeavor. For the preaching of the saints, which are the elect of Israel. You're not going to ever see us go stand in front of a church. We would never stand in front of the church and prophesy. Why? Because IUIC already did it. So we already know, no, you stay away from the churches. That's a waste of energy. When are you guys going to go to the abortion centers and march around that? When are you going to go to the mosque and march around that? When you go to these police departments, these corrupt police departments, and march around that? For the perfecting the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of the Messiah. And in the body you have a rank and file. Till we all come into unity. So how can you have a unity camp when these two different camps are teaching two different things? Edomites can make it. Oh, there's a hell. Oh, there's not a hell. The MOTB is an embargo, sleeping with white women. Till we all come in the unity of the faith. So you got to speak. If there's 20 guys out there, whatever man gets up and speak, he got to say the same thing that the rest of the 19 is going to say. And if one of them or the 19 see that he's going off, they're gonna say something. They say, wait a minute, you going off on that? I wish I said, look, brother, you went off on that. And of the knowledge of the Son of the Most High unto a perfect man. These other camps are not perfect. That's why they can't say they got 100% truth. None of these camps can say they got 100% truth. All you camps got holes in you. All of you got holes in you, man. In your doctrine. Unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of the Messiah. So our job is to reach the measure of the stature of the fullness of the Messiah. You can't come to the measure of the stature of the fullness of the Messiah if you're saying the mark of the beast is sleeping with white women. That we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro. First man to come to my mind is Hassad. Hassad went, ISUPK, I'm getting with the ISUPK. And you know he saw GMS videos, ISUPK videos, IUIC videos, different AOC videos, or whatever the case may be. And he said, no, I got to get with the ISUPK. He's with the ISUPK. He said, no, I don't like the ISUPK. I'm getting with the Sakari. Sakari wound up kicking you out. So guess what? You are a persona non grata. You are no person. It says, then we henceforth be no more. And then you didn't, look, I ain't going to go into that. I'm not going to dwell on that. It says that you're just a persona non grata. So you're not invited to any of the GMS camps. That we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro. And that was you. You went to the ISUPK. You went to Sakari. You're doing your own thing. You might break off from Hakar. You might go back to being a Roman Catholic, or whatever the case may be. You are no person, and carried about with every wind of doctrine. Now the great doctrine, right? Sakari says that we're going off on the great doctrine. Did you go ahead and look it up for yourself what we said? And if you really did the research, you would say, wait a minute, the GMS is correct, and therefore I'm leaving the Sakari. You didn't do that. Everything that you teach is pretty much what you got from Sakari, where mostly everything that they got from us. The Spirit didn't come to you in a dream and say, oh, my name is Yahweh, my son's name is Yahweh Shai, and this is how you pronounce it. You got that from the Sakari, the name of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, and the Sakari got that from us. And they went into the Spirit, and the Spirit said, yep, that's how you say the Most High's name and his son's name. By the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, a lot of these guys are they're rip-off artists, man. A lot of these brothers, their motivation is money, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. Let me look up the word sleight. Magicians use a sleight of hand. They make something disappear and reappear, but it's not magic, it's trickery. They'll saw a woman in half, but actually it's two women. It's one woman that's crunched up in one part, and another woman, she's crunched up and her legs are showing, so it looks like. Then they got the boxes, and somebody hides under the box, and all of a sudden he pulls the curtain and he disappears. Well, he went down to that little box. Then he puts the curtain back over, and then the sword. They put a sword in there, and the sword is not a real sword. But see, niggas like Kamala Harris, she's doing magic on you niggas. She's casting spell on you dumb, monkey-minded Negroes. Okay, so now, right, dice playing. The deception of men, because of dice players, sometimes cheated and defrauded their fellow players. So they pulling a fast one on you. Especially a guy that made a deal with the elite, and they getting money to. Oh, Comfy was the perfect guy. He clearly was paid off to do what he had to do. That's why he said, oh, we don't know the name of the son. He's known as Bun Yahweh. Then he started teaching, and then Ariyah fell for it. So if Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai don't have mercy on Ariyah and Shah, they both going to be put to death. But they'll come back. Now, if the Most High have mercy on them, that's the Most High. Guess what? The Most High can choose to have mercy on you. I'll give you a perfect example. King David committed adultery. The law was to be put to death. Did King David get put to death? No. Why? Because the Most High he said, nope, I'm not going to kill him. So the Most High has control over his own laws. He can forgive you of the laws that you break. Did not that happen with the woman that was accused of adultery in the very act? And Yahweh Shai forgave. He had the power to forgive that woman. By a sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. But speaking the truth in love may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Yahweh Shai. 16 verse, then we'll move on. From whom the whole body, there it goes again, fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, maketh increase of the body, the whole body, unto the edifying of itself in love. So if anybody goes off not one jot or one tittle, the word jot goes back to the Hebrew word what is it? It goes back to the Greek word, which is what is it? You can look it up. I'm not going to look it up. Iota. The word is iota. The Greek word, the Greek word iota goes back to the Hebrew word Yah. Greek came from Hebrew. Iota came from the word, the character Yah. Not one Yah or one tither, which is the smallest of something. Yah is the first character of the name of the Most High and the name of the Son of the Most High. And see, a lot of you guys, you'll put T-shirts together and you write Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, and you put the Yah the same size as the rest of the letters. No, the Yah is smaller than the rest of the letters. That's why he said, not one Yah in no wise shall go from the law. I'm merely paraphrasing. So a lot of you guys don't even understand that. I look at a Hebrew Israelite group and they got Yahweh written on their shirt, and it's written, and all the letters are the same size. You really don't know the Hebrew. You really don't know the Hebrew. All right, 2 Colossians 16, I'm going long. We know what 16 means about the law, and it has nothing to do with animal sacrifices. It's talking about high holy days. When the Gentiles, Israelites came in, the Apostle Paul didn't dump a dump truck of laws. So now you got to keep 600 plus laws overnight. You read them and then just start keeping them. No, he didn't say that. He didn't push that law. I'm going to jump down to the 19th verse. And not holding the head, from which all the body by joints and bands, having nourishment ministered. How do we nourish y'all? Through the YouTube video, the YouTube videos, man. And if you're not watching, then that's on you. Then we ask you, what does this mean? What does that mean? We give you a test and you don't break it down. We're gonna wonder, is this guy really one of the elect? And knit together. You know, they have it's a vitamin C. What's it called? I forget. There's a certain vitamin C that if you got a broken bone, this particular vitamin C, which is called bone knit, it actually builds bones. So when you knit something, you know, you knit a sweater, something like that, and you want to stay warm. If you got holes in the sweater, the cold can come in and increases with the increase of the Most High, because the Most High start working with you. You know what I got to do? Let me go to the 16th verse, because the IUIC teaches that this is talking about animal sacrifices. It said, let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink on the respect of a high holy day, Sabbath, new moon, feast, Sabbath, feast. The Sabbath is a feast. The new moon is a feast. Passover is a feast. All these high holy days are feasts. It has nothing to do with sacrifices or of the new moon or of the Sabbath days. Which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of the Messiah. Let not no man beguile you concerning angels, praying to angels. Ariah clearly went off on that. Ariah said he used to put up prayers to the angels, to Mayaka Allah. He was going off. And none of the rest of the seven corrected him on that. Somebody should have stood up and corrected him on that. So Ariah went off on certain things. You're not going to see us pray to Michael. We don't pray to Michael. We pray to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Psalms 123, verse 4. Our soul is exceedingly filled with the scorning of those that are at ease, and with the contempt of the proud. Let me read that again. Our soul is exceedingly filled with the scorning of those that are at ease. You got Jake that's at ease in his kingdom. They got to be shooken up. You got Esau that's at ease in their kingdom. That's in Revelation 13. Isaiah 47. You got Jake that knows the Israelites that are at ease. They're doing very little as far as pushing this gospel. I'm not going to read all of these, but here you have the list. You got First Timothy 1, 3 to 8, 1 Timothy 1, 9 to 10, 2 Timothy 4, verse 3. A lot of good scriptures. Titus 1, verse 9. 1 Corinthians 3, that's a good one. That goes into divisions. Hebrew 5 and 12, we should know that by heart. For when you have need that one teach you. Matter of fact, let me go to that. For when the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High, and are become such as need of milk and not of strong meat. When the great doctrine came out, guess what? That was strong meat to them, and a lot of I say all of them got messed up. They choked on the meat, and some of them woke up to it because they finally got over their emotional state, and they said, "Well, let me go into that." And then you know what? They found out, no, GMS was right. For everyone, so none of you guys should be anybody that's teaching against the great doctrine. That's a part of the scriptures. You took away from the law. That means you're really, truly not teachers of the Most High. You're not one of the elect. You're not amongst the elect. And everyone that uses milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. But strong meat belongeth to them that are of the full age, even those who, by reason of use, have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. So you join the camp and you go under some leader, and whatever the guy says, you're gonna go. You don't know how to discern between good and evil. That's all also in Malachi 3 and 16. To discern between good and evil. We go back 4 or 5 years ago, Bishop Nathaniel and the leaders were teaching that the lake of fire is a miracle on fire, and he never taught about an eternal hell. Now he teaches that there's an eternal hell, and nobody bucked up against it. Nobody, you had no problem when we said there was no hell. Now you don't have no problem now that there is a hell. Back 2014, let's say, he was teaching that the mark of the beast has nothing to do with people. It has everything to do with companies and countries. It had nothing to do with people, so you don't that the companies and the countries receive the mark. People don't receive the mark. And he would only read to the 16th verse. Now I ran into two of them and I said, read the 17th verse. And the 17th verse says, if any man, meaning man, woman, or child, receive the mark. So that kills what he says concerning the 16th verse. It's talking about actual men. And he changed it up. So the scriptures say, meddle not with him that is given to change. So he changes things up. So you guys just blindly follow this guy. It's going to lead you to destruction, to perdition. Remember Romans 16, 17, and 18 says about a guy with fine speeches. Look, Kamala Harris, you notice she would always laugh and giggle and cackle. She ain't doing that no more because they pulled to the side and said, you got to stop that. You can't be laughing. You're running for president. You can't be laughing no more. And they got her all, she's an actress. They got her propped up. She ain't going to be the real president. She's just going to be an ideologue, a person that they put in front. The real policies come from behind the scenes. The same thing with Donald Trump. Donald Trump ain't no real president. He's an ideologue. He's got some influence. Donald Trump is a cult of personality. Anytime they make you they want to set up a president, they make this guy bigger, they make him like a superhero. That's called a cult. They create a cult of personality. Look that word up. Cult of personality. Hitler was a cult of personality. Adolf Hitler was a cult of personality. Fidel Castro was a cult of personality. All these different guys were cults of personalities. That you think this guy would do no wrong. If you touch his garment, you get healed. If you got cancer, if you touch the president, you get healed. They make the president godlike, that he can do no wrong. So that just shows the utter stupidity of the majority of the people in this country. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Matthew 10 and 11 says the same thing. Many false prophets and false messiahs. Matthew 24 and 24, many false prophets and false messiahs. Luke 6 and 26. Let's see what that says. Woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets. Woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets. Woe unto you when all men speak well of you, shall speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets. Recently, you had Sakari, which teaches a completely different doctrine than the IUIC, but the leader Sakari said we're in unity with the IUIC. So they spoke well of you, so you better watch out when somebody speaks well of you. So let's see what the NLT says. What sorrow awaits you who are praised by the crowds, for their ancestors also praised false prophets. Let me read that again. Luke 6 and 26. What sorrow awaits you who are praised by the crowds? When they do that march, you got people, oh my goodness, see, we need stuff like this. See, these are great men. That's what all these, you go back to Hitler's time, he had the men, the goose step and go back to the Germans. The Russians use it. They parade their military weaponry and their men, and they all goose step. They all march. And people get excited. See, the Lord is with these guys. Look at how they march, and they all wearing the same clothes. It says, what sorrow awaits you who are praised by the crowds? And the crowds are shallow people. They're not deep. The people in the crowds, they're not people that do research. They're not people that stay up all night researching this and going to the root word of that and going to maps and going into history and linking up history with the scriptures. Ain't Ain't nobody knew about. Hey, the movie Gladiator 2, the trailer. They had this guy Denzel. So I said, how's Denzel in there? So I did the research and I found out. Well, he was one of the Caesars. He ruled for a year from 217 A.D. to 218, and he got his head chopped off by a rival Jake. So that was an actual guy. So this guy that put the movie together, Ridley Scott, he looked into he got an historian part. So they looked into what did the guy look like. They said this guy was a black guy. So we got to get a black guy to play Mike Cranus. Y'all didn't know that until none of y'all knew that until I came out with it. Now you can see it. We almost finished. I know I went long. Peter speaks about the false prophets. 1 John 4:1 on down says, try the spirits, right? So let's go to these last two. Wisdom of Solomon. If you're not passionate about this truth, as said in Apostle Paul said that, and I'll get that scripture, most high willing. Wisdom of Solomon. I was going to go to the I may go to the context. And being but one, she can. It's talking about wisdom, which is a feminine force. She can do all things, and remaining in herself, she maketh all things new. And in all ages, entering into holy souls. What does it say about a malicious soul? She maketh them friends of the Most High and prophets. And in all ages, entering into holy souls. Wisdom enters into holy souls. She maketh them friends of the Most High and prophets. Now, I just thought of one precept, but okay, let me do this. Wisdom cannot enter into a malicious soul. Wisdom of Solomon. 1 verse 4. For into a malicious soul wisdom shall not enter, nor dwell in the body that is subject unto sin. We still sin, and we get this message because it's not sin. It's not us that sin, but sin that dwelleth in us. That's what the Apostle Paul said. For the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit and remove from thoughts that are without understanding, and will not abide when unrighteousness cometh in. So you seek the righteous acts. What does it say about an adulterer? Let me go to that. An adulterer lacketh understanding. He that committeth adultery lacketh understanding. So if you get a guy that's been in this thing for 6 months and he commits adultery with a girl, you can kind of understand that because he doesn't have the understanding. But if you got a guy that's been in this thing for 20 years, 25 years, top teaching, he commits adultery, that means he lacketh understanding. The best policy is not to have women around you, man. And I'm a person that I don't like to have a lot of people around me any goddamn way. I deal with certain key people. Restaurants I go to, I don't just go to any old restaurant. If there's a restaurant, I said, no, I don't know. I don't know how they make their food. I might ask one of them brothers, go look at the menu and buy something and eat it and let me know. Yeah, I go to certain restaurants. There's certain restaurants I wouldn't even step foot in because I don't know how they cook. I don't need a woman's food. A woman cannot cook for me. I cook for myself, or we going to the restaurant. I don't know if you did something with that food. Okay, this is the last one. First Ezra 6, I'm going to read verses 1 and 2, then I'm going to close. One and 2. Now in the second year of the reign of Darius Agios and Zacharias the son of Adu, the prophets prophesied unto the Israelites among Israel in Jerusalem in the name of the Yahweh, the Most High of Israel. So if you claim to be a prophet of Israel and you don't know his name, the Most High is not dealing with you. He wants his name to be heard by you, which was upon them. Then stood up Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and the word there is Jesus. The word is Yahushua, which is Joshua, the son of Josedek, and began to build the house of Yahweh at Jerusalem. We're building the house of Yahweh in Babylon. The house that's being built are the men. Each of us represent a brick. The prophets of Yahweh being with them and helping them. So how do we help? By when we do these videos. At the same time came unto them Cesnius, the governor of Syria, and Phoenice. And I don't got to read the rest of this. But the main part I wanted is that you had these important men, Zerubbabel and Yahushua, the son of Josedek. I don't know how to say it in the Hebrew. I got to look it up in the Hebrew. And it says, and the prophets helped them. Well, prophets don't build nothing. So this building that we're doing now, you need the contractors that you need are prophets. And what are we building with? We're building with the book, the scriptures. And we're filtering stuff that we get from history into this. The filter is the scriptures. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna say shalom. On to the next one. Shalom.